What is going on, Ive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about coffee versus tea. Which one is the better one to use during intermittent fasting? We know that you can consume both of them during your fasting period, but does one edge out the other in terms of hormonal and metabolic benefits? That's what we're going to go ahead and tackle in this video. Stay tuned. Thoroughly tested in terms of coffee and tea. They both have this ingredient that enhances things like autophagy, and that ingredient is, of course, caffeine. The caffeine is a stressor, and the stressor lends itself towards enhancing the autophagy effects. So if you're doing intermittent fasting and you're trying to tap into those autophagy effects, coffee and tea can induce a more heightened state of autophagy. But that is the common trait between the two. But that's not the only elements to producing an effective fast. There are other things such as insulin sensitivity, reducing blood glucose levels. Those things are elements of a fast. And there was actually a meta-analysis done utilizing coffee and tea. Now in this meta-analysis, they use a multitude of different teas, and they also use caffeinated coffee and decaffeinated coffee. The multitude of different teas that they used was oolong tea, black tea, and even green tea. Now this is a meta-analysis, so it's pretty vast, somewhat comprehensive. It took thousands of studies, reduced it to 27 that met the criteria. They were looking for controlled randomized, which is an important method to increase the accuracy of the study. Once they reduced it to that, of course, they omitted things for people who had specific diseases and stuff that would conflict with the study results, reducing those thousands for duplications and medical reasons. And with those 27 studies, there was about 1,900 participants. Now, to ensure that these things weren't happening simply because of the placebo effect, all of these participants within the study individual designs were pitted against a placebo to see if there was any enhanced benefits within the specific drink that they were consuming. Now, most of the parameters were the same, but the only thing that stood out that they were looking at was the fasting blood glucose. And what they found was interesting. Nor oolong tea or black tea or coffee or decaffeinated coffee improved fasting blood glucose levels. Now, understand what I mean by improve. Coffee doesn't affect it negatively. Wherever your fasting blood glucose is going to be, regardless of the coffee, it will be there. But it didn't affect it in any way at all. It didn't affect it positively, nor did it affect it negatively. It didn't reduce your fasting blood glucose level. It just didn't affect it at all. So I want to make that clear. I don't want people to take this video and think that coffee negatively impacts your fasting blood glucose. It just doesn't do anything. Your intermittent fasting protocol will improve that on its own, but coffee doesn't add any elements to enhance it as it does with the autophagy effects. The only drink that actually further enhanced the fasting blood glucose level was green tea. Green tea actually enhanced it while all the other beverages did not. And they compared the green tea with the placebo drink, and it still showed the positive effects on the green tea. Although, to be fair, the oolong tea showed some positive enhancements to fasting blood glucose, but the quality of evidence based on the studies extracted for the oolong tea was not very strong, so the significance was less. The green tea studies and the coffee studies and the black tea studies had better study designs. They also noticed that there was a higher statistical significance within green tea directly improving fasting blood glucose if you were below the age of 55, although even above the age of 55 there was positive effects, but it wasn't greater than if you were below the age of 55. And they also noticed that a lot of Asian based studies had higher significance of green tea affecting the fasting blood glucose positively as well. Although they don't understand why this is the case, they theorize that the diet in the Asian population, being different from all the other groups, probably contributed to an improved fasting blood glucose for that group. Now, why is it that green tea has this benefit but coffee does not? I don't want this to get lost in the science, but there is a specific catechin that green tea actually contains, and that is called epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG for short. And that specific catechin reduces hepatic glucose production. Basically, to break down what I just said, there is a certain element within green tea that actually directly improves glucose production. And this same catechin actually assists in insulin sensitivity as well. So I know this video was short, but I wanted to look at the razor thin margin that one would have over the other. And based on this meta-analysis, which is the largest comprehensive analysis ever done on this specific topic, green tea does edge out coffee in regards to enhancing certain elements of your fasting protocol. Now, with that understanding, still understand that coffee does not negatively impact your fasting blood glucose. It just doesn't affect it at all, while green tea does have a positive effect towards your fasting blood glucose by showing that it has a potential to reduce it over all the other beverages. I hope this video was pretty informative for you if you were wondering which one is better hormonally or metabolically for you. But like I said before, both of them are fine and both of them will not break your fast. And I want to thank my patrons from my Patreon. I'm going to put their names right up here.